Alright guys, so this is Mr. Super Olive here, or Brandon Kennedy, whatever you want to call me. Uh, I have to do a speech tomorrow morning for my public speaking class, so I wrote the speech and I really like it, so I want to kind of put it on my YouTube channel. You guys can kind of give me some feedback on it of what you think are, how you think it did, or any pointers. Maybe if I can get them back like tonight before the speech tomorrow, I'd appreciate it. So without further ado, I'm going to start this timer and then I will get going. Alright, so I'm going to kind of also be asking some questions, so feel free to answer them to yourself if you want. Just questions I'm going to be asking my class. Alright, so can I ask you guys a question? Avengers, the Avengers movie, does anybody remember it from last summer? Was it awesome or what? Let's talk comic books. Let's talk Marvel Comics. Who knows what universe we live in? We live in Earth 616. Earth 616 is the main Marvel universe of continuity, and that takes place on an Earth that's much similar to our own. In Marvel universe, Earth 616 is a reflection of our own world, and only that it has more awesome events and a lot more epic superheroes and heroines, our heroines. Recently, the role of these heroines have played in Earth 616 has become more significant as we see them slowly start to resemble more of this image of the 21st century woman. So what I would like to introduce you to today is a line of comics that may usher in a new era of social consciousness and that will also usher nerd culture to the forefront of our society. Which, talking about Marvel, brings us to Marvel now. Nerd culture is here, and it's here to stay. If you go and you look at the things that are big in our culture, like we have a new Marvel TV show starting next week called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The Avengers was one of the top high-selling blockbuster movies of all time. Other big movies, Thor, Iron Man 2, Star Wars getting announced for another movie has made huge ripples, Batman vs. Superman. These things are here in our society and they're here to stay. They're what's cool and there's what's hot now. What used to be looked down upon is now mainstream. So when these comics are a reflection of our society, they represent a world of our own, you have to ask, what does it say about our society when things like this are printed? So that brings me to a couple comics I would like to show you. What does it say about us when we have comics like Captain Marvel with Carol Danvers in her strong American yes we can pose, the powerful image of a 21st century woman? Or we have other comics like Marvel's now X-Men with the all-female team of very strong, powerful, strong-willed women. Or the all-new X-Men with the young Jean Grey trying to take a hold of her own future and let nobody dictate it for her. When we have comics like this in the free market, when they're printed and sold, these are things that writers are consciously writing, maybe this appeals to our new audience. And that's the New Age story. Comics focused on content and focus on socially conscious of being aware of what's happening in the world around us and then selling that back to us as stories we want to see. Now we can take comics like these with these New Age women and these New Age storylines and we can contrast it to The Secret Avengers, which was a really good comic book of its time a couple years ago. But when we look at that, we look at Captain America's sidekick who is massaging him in his underwear. And this isn't all comics of the time, but what does that say about her as a woman in our society, that her only role in that comic is really just to be attractive? She saves the super carrier maybe once, but in a near unimportant way. I won't give any spoilers about that comic away. And that's where there are exceptions. Which brings me to my next point. Sex is a very powerful marketing tool, only rivaled by personal health and environmentally friendly products. Like when you use sex to sell something, it's hard to sell it in any other way. The only other thing that you can see that comes close to that is using products that like promote healthy living, or things that are eco-friendly, trying to sell them to the mass of society. But it's hard to promote personal health or environmentally friendly products in a sellable way for a comic book. And that's why oftentimes in the past sex has been relied upon. And there will be exceptions to this new age story. Uh, like Marvel Now's Thunderbolts, Elektra, the female character in there, is only in there as a sex symbol. Some of the other exceptions in the all new are in the X-Men comic I showed you. It's a very classic storyline of female character has a baby, and how do they deal with this? And I mean, that's not sex, but those are just those old age stories clashing with our new. And that brings me to my third point of our opinion matters. I don't have one of the new Thunderbolts comics to show you guys because I choose not to buy it. Let me introduce you guys to somebody. This is Songbird. She used to be in charge of the old Thunderbolts, but now she's stuck in the past. New Thunderbolts, the story did not click with me. And me as a consumer, I chose not to buy that product because I didn't like how the characters were portrayed. I didn't like how the story was presented. And since we are in a market, a free market of we as consumers, we hold the power. And we choose what is successful and we choose what is flawed. And then since comic books and this comic nature and nerd culture is becoming the forefront of our society of entertainment, our voice matters. We as consumers of this product, we choose if it's successful. So in conclusion, Earth 616 is a reflection of our own society. Nerd culture is here and it's here to stay. And sex is a powerful tool, but it's not as powerful as our own voices. So citizens of Earth 616, go, use your voice. Help shape the society we live in. Tell the writers what you want and, just be a part and be involved. Thank you.